This episode of the Story Cottage is brought to you by our friends at the Kings Ridge Elderberries, Indigo Sundries Soap Company, Lux Coffee, Skin Balm Apothecary, and our amazing supporters. Click the Support the Show link in the show notes and subscribe for only $5 a month to get every episode ad-free. And now, on with the show. Fairy tales, folklore, myths, and legends. Why do children need them? Why do nations and peoples create them? Who knows? Maybe some of them are real. Maybe some are merely imaginative. Is there a hidden wisdom worth finding in these tall tales? Proverbs 1:5-6 says, "Let the wise hear and increase in learning, and the one who understands obtain guidance, to understand a proverb and a saying, the words of the wise and their riddles." We're your hosts, Jerry and Amy Davidson. Welcome to the Story Cottage. Please step inside. One easily gets acquainted with the Welsh fairies, for nearly all the good ones are very fond of music, or they live down in the lakes, or up in the mountains. They are always ready to help kind or polite people who treat them well, or will give them a glass of milk or a saucer of flummery. But oh, what tricks and mischief they do play on mean or stingy or grumpy folks with bad tempers. They tangle up the harnesses of the horses, milk the cows, letting the milk go to waste on the stable floor, tie knots in their tails, or keep the dog's mouth shut when the robbers come sneaking around. Better not offend a fairy, even though no higher than a thimble. A favorite place for the elfin ladies of the lake is high up in one of the freshwater mountain ponds. They are cousins to the mermaids that swim in the salt water. They say that these lake maidens love to come up close to the shore to smell the sweet grass and flowers, which the cows like so much. Near one of these lakes dwelt a widow with only one son, named Gwyn. One day, he took his lunch of barley bread and cheese and went out as usual to tend the cows. Soon, he saw rising out of the water to dress her long and luxuriant hair, the most beautiful lady he had ever seen. In her hand, she held a golden comb, and was using the bright lake surface as a mirror. At once, Gwyn fell in love with her, and like an unselfish lad, held out his refreshments, barley bread and cheese, all he had, bidding her to come and take. But though the lady glided toward him, while he still held out his hand, she shook her head, saying,
"O thou of the hard-baked bread, it is not easy to catch me."
Sorry enough to miss such a prize, he hurried home to tell his mother. She, wondering also whether fairies have teeth to chew, told him to take soft dough next time. Then perhaps the strange lady would come again. Not much sleep did the boy get that night, and before the sun was up, he was down by the lakeside holding out his dough. There, hour after hour, neglecting the cows, he looked eagerly over the water, but nothing appeared, except ripples started by the breeze. Again and again, he gazed in hope, only to be disappointed. Meanwhile, he thought out a pretty speech to make to her, but he kept his dough and went hungry. It was late in the afternoon when the trees on the hills were casting long shadows westward that he gave up watching, for he supposed she would come no more. But just as he started to go back to his mother's cabin, he turned his head, and there was the same lady, looking more beautiful than ever. In a moment, he forgot every word he meant to say to her. His tongue seemed to leave him, and he only held out his hand with the dough in it. But the lake lady, shaking her head, only laughed and said,
"Thou of the soft bread, I will not have thee."
Though she dived under the water and left him sad and lonely, she smiled so sweetly as she vanished, that, though again disappointed, he thought she would come again and she might yet accept his gift. His mother told him to try her with bread half-baked, that is, midway between hard crust and soft dough. So, having packed his lunch, and much excited, though this time with bright hopes, Gwyn went to bed, though not to sleep. At dawn, he was up again and out by the lakeside with his half-baked bread in his hand. It was a day of rain and shine, of sunburst and cloud, but no lady appeared. The long hours of watching and waiting sped on until it was nearly dark. When just about to turn homewards to ease his mother's anxiety, what should he see but some cows walking on the surface of the water? In a few minutes, the lady herself, lovelier than ever, rose up and moved towards the shore. Gwyn rushed out to meet her, with beseeching looks and holding the half-baked bread in his hand. This time, she graciously took the gift, placed her other hand in his, and he led her to the shore. Standing with her on land, he could not speak for many seconds. He noticed that she had sandals on her feet, and the one on the right foot was tied in a way rather unusual.
Hey, honey, why are the kids running around in the backyard talking about building burrows?
Oh, I gave them a little bit of coffee.
What?
It's okay, dear. It's Lux coffee. Post tenebris lux. After darkness, light. The kids were being so disobedient, so I gave them some coffee called the Alfred option.
Oh, that's where they got the burrow thing. But wait, you're giving the kids artisan roast coffee?
Only the best for my little angels. Lux defies convenience in favor of quality, single origin roasting. Here's a cup of brutal American for you, my knight in shining armor.
Wow, this coffee is incredible. How do we get more?
By going to luxcoffee.co and use code CHRISTISKING for 15% off.
Thanks, honey. I think I'm gonna go join the kids.
For Christ and his bride, post tenebris lux.
Tired of evil fairies using cold and flu season to turn you and your children into ogres every year? Yeah, me too. This cold and flu season, fortify your defenses naturally with the King's Ridge elderberry syrup and elderberry products. They grow the freshest elderberries on their Indiana farm, hand-pick and cold-press them into the tastiest syrup around. And they are packed with antioxidants and vitamins to boost your immune system. Defend the castle of your family's health. Use code STORY10 for 10% off your first order at tkrfarm.com. The King's Ridge elderberry syrup. Taste the difference, help push back the curse. That's tkrfarm.com and use code STORY10 for 10% off your first order. Under her winsome smile at last, he regained the use of his tongue. Then he burst out, "Lady, I love you, more than all the world besides. Will you be my wife?" She did not seem at all willing at first, but love begets love. Finally yielding to his pleadings, she said, rather solemnly,
I will be your bride, but only on this condition, that if you strike me 3 times without cause, I will leave your house and you only will be to blame, and it will be forever.
These words stuck in his mind, and he inwardly made a vow never to give his lovely wife cause to leave him. But not yet did happiness come, for even while he took oath that he would rather cut off his right hand than offend her, she darted away like an arrow and diving in the lake, disappeared. At this sudden blow to his hopes and joy, Gwyn was so sorely depressed as to wish to take his own life. Rushing up to the top of a rock, overhanging the deepest part of the lake, he was just about to leap into the water and drown himself when he heard a voice behind him saying, "Hold, rash lad! Come here!" He looked, and there down on the shore of the lake stood a grand-looking old man with a long white beard. On either side of him was a lovely maiden. These were his daughters. Trembling with fear, the lad slipped down from the rock and drew near. Then the old man spoke comfortably to him, though in a very cracked voice. "Mortal, do you wish to marry one of my daughters? Show me the one you love more than the other, and I will consent." Now, the 2 maidens were so beautiful, yet so exactly alike, that Gwyn could not note any difference. As he looked, he began to wonder whether it had been a different lady in each case that rose out of the water. He looked beyond the old man to see if there were a third lady. When he saw none more, he became more distracted. He feared lest he might choose the wrong one who had not promised to love him. Almost in despair, he was about to run home when he noticed that one of the maidens put forward her right foot. Then he saw that her sandal was tied in the way he had already wondered at, so he boldly went forward and took her by the hand. "This one is mine," said he to the father.
"You are right,"
answered the old man.
"This is my daughter, Nelfurch. Take her, and you shall have as many cattle, sheep, horses, hogs, and goats as she can count of each without drawing in her breath. But I warn you that 3 blows without cause will send her back to me."
While the old man smiled and Gwyn renewed his vow, the new wife began to count by 5s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At the end of each count, drawing in a fresh breath, there rose up out of the lake as many sheep, cattle, goats, pigs, and horses as she had counted. So it happened that the lad, who went out of his mother's cottage in the morning, a poor boy, came back to her a rich man, and leading by the hand the loveliest creature on whom man or woman had ever looked upon. As for the old man and the other daughter, no one ever saw them again. Gwyn and his wife went out to a farm which he bought, and oh, how happy they were. She was very kind to the poor. She had the gift of healing, knew all the herbs which were good for medicine, and cured sick folk of their diseases. 3 times the cradle was filled, and each time with a baby boy. 8 long and happy years followed. They loved each other so dearly and were so happy together that Gwyn's vow passed entirely out of his mind, and he thought no more of it. On the 7th birthday of the oldest boy, there was a wedding at some distance away, and the father and mother walked through a field where their horses were grazing. As it was too far for Lady Nelfurch to walk all the way, her husband went back to the house for saddle and bridle, while she should catch the horse.
"Please do and bring me my gloves from off of the table,"
she called as she turned towards the house. But when he returned to the field, he saw that she had not stirred. So, before handing his wife her gloves and pointing playfully to the horses, he gave her a little flick with the gloves. Instead of moving, instantly she heaved a deep sigh. Then, looking up at him with sorrowful and reproachful eyes, she said,
"Remember our vow, Gwyn. This is the first causeless blow. May there never be another."
Days and years passed away so happily that the husband and father never again had to recall the promise given to his wife and her father. But when they were invited to the christening of a baby, everyone was full of smiles and gaiety, except Nelfurch. Women, especially the older ones, often cry at a wedding, but why his wife should burst into tears puzzled Gwyn. Tapping her on the shoulder, he asked the reason.
"Because,"
said she,
"this weak babe will be in pain and misery all its days and die in agony. And, husband dear, you have once again struck me a causeless blow. Oh, do be on guard and not again break your promise."
From this time forth, Gwyn was on watch over himself day and night, like a sentinel over whom hangs the sentence of death should he fall asleep on duty. He was ever vigilant lest he, in a moment of forgetfulness, might, by some slip of conduct or in a moment of forgetfulness, strike his dear wife. The baby, whose life of pain and death of agony Nelfurch had foretold, soon passed away, for happily its life was short. Then she and her husband attended the last rites of sorrow, for Celtic folk always have a funeral and hold awake even when a baby, only a span long, lies in the coffin. Yet in the most solemn moment of the services of burial, Nelfurch the wife laughed out so long and with such merriment that everyone was startled. Her husband, mortified at such improper behavior, touched her gently, saying, "Hush, wife, why do you laugh?"
"Because the babe is free from all pain, and you have thrice struck me. Farewell."
Fleeing like a deer home to their farm, she called together by its name each and every one of their animals from stable and field, yes, even those harnessed to the plow. Then over the mountain all moved in procession to the lake. There they plunged in and vanished. No trace of them was left, except that made by the oxen drawing the plow, and which mark on the ground men still point out. Broken-hearted and mad with grief, Gwyn rushed into the lake and was seen no more. The 3 sons, grieving over their drowned father, spent their many days wandering along the lakeside, hoping once more to see one or both of their dear parents. Their love was rewarded. They never saw their father again, but one day their mother, Nelfurch, suddenly appeared out of the water. Telling her children that her mission on Earth was to relieve pain and misery, she took them to a point in the lake where many plants grew that were useful in medicine. There she often came and taught them the virtues of the roots, leaves, juices, and the various virtues of the herbs, and how to nurse the sick and heal those who had diseases. All three of Nelfurch's sons became physicians of fame and power. Their descendants, during many centuries, were renowned for their skill in easing pain and saving life. To this day, Physician's Point is shown to visitors as a famous spot, and in tradition is almost holy.
My darling husband, your beard hath become as soft as a snowdrift, and thy scent is that of a king before a grand feast. Tell me, how is this so?
Honey, why are you talking like that?
Because I am enamored with thy scent. I must know, how can these things be?
I just started using Indigo Sundry's soap. They've been a Christian family business for over 20 years who use their own proprietary recipes to make actually clean soaps, without any of the nasty stuff big soap companies use like parabens, phthalates, and preservatives. They even have essential oil only, clay, and unscented soap options, and tons of great bundles.
Oh my lord, telleth me now how mayeth we getteth more.
Honey, please stop. Just go to indigosundrysoap.com and use code STORY for 10% off.
I shall make haste to do so, and all my ladies in waiting must spread the word. For if all the wives of the world were as enthralled with their husband's scent as I, we should have peace in the land.
Sure, baby. Maybe you should stop using the bad soaps. They're making you crazy.
Ladies, have you grown tired of reading through the ingredients on your skincare products only to buy something that doesn't really work? Let's be real, there aren't a lot of great options for skin and body care out there. Here's the solution. Our great friends at Skin Balm Apothecary have literally everything you need. Handcrafted in the US by a mom and educated herbalist, her premium products are made for all ages and skin types and are safe for children, pregnant women, and nursing mothers, with no toxic or synthetic ingredients, no chemicals, and no fillers. I use her Awake Coffee Serum and Firming Serum every single day, and the results are immediate and absolutely incredible. My face has never been brighter or my skin clearer in my life. And she has products for hair, face, lips, and body, such as deodorant, sunscreen, body oil, and even baby balm and essential oils. Go to skinbalmapothecary.com and use code StoryCottage15 for 15% off your first order. Skin Balm Apothecary, rooted in nature, crafted with intention.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Story Cottage. Before we dive in, we want to thank you guys just for listening. But before we get into our questions, if you don't already, click that follow button. Please share the show, leave us a 5-star review, and or drop a comment in the comment section. This really helps get these stories in front of more families. So do that now as you're listening to this.
And check out our sponsors and consider supporting us. We only ask $5 a month and you get every episode ad-free that way. I mean, come on guys, that's like half the price of a cup of black coffee at Starbucks.
And come on, let's be real. Our stories are way better than Starbucks coffee. And you can just click the support the show link in the show notes or go to thestorycottage.buzzsprout.com and sign up there. And announcement for all new subscribers and all previous subscribers, we will now be sending out all past and, as we release them, new episodes as MP3s ad-free.
The idea of that is if your child has a Yodo or another device that you'd like to download our episodes onto so that they can listen that way, it gives you that availability.
Yes, all those kids with iPod shuffles from 2005 are going to be so stoked. So, all right, let's get into our questions. First, what do the characters in this story value most? Well, Gwyn values beauty, but not in a healthy way as we've seen in other stories. He is infatuated with Nelfurch so much that he disregards all reason and caution, spending his entire day neglecting his duties, giving away their bread to try to entice her to be his wife, and eventually even committing suicide after Nelfurch abandons him and their children. He submits completely to her whims and emotions.
Nelfurch values her own control and arbitrary rules even above her own marriage. She becomes a tyrant to her husband and destroys her family over it. She is subject to her own whims so much that she even gets to perceive a tap on the shoulder as abuse.
All right, what lessons can we learn from this story? First, to the young men, let's get it out of the way. Don't marry fairies. Not a good idea. Just don't. But also, we must be watchful over our own lusts and infatuations, especially with women. But whether it's women, video games, even books, or hobbies, if you find yourself disregarding your responsibilities or throwing yourself, your time, or your money into something unreasonably, that is very likely a sin. We must honor God with all we have, including our minds and bodies. Gwyn gives away his mind and ultimately his body and soul to Nelfurch, all because he was infatuated with her beauty, despite her showing that from the beginning that she was a horrible choice of a wife. Proverbs 5 talks about how the forbidden woman's feet lead to death, and how she does not ponder the path of life. It even says that she isn't aware of how to think properly about the path she is on. This tells us, as men, that we must be watchful for women like this. Many women today subject themselves and everyone around them to their own whims and do not consider the path of life that God gives us in His Word. If you find a woman like this, like Joseph, run away as fast as possible.
Lastly, to the ladies, don't give in to your every whim and emotion. You will become obnoxious tyrants if you do. Just because you don't like how someone said or did something, like tapping you on the shoulder or asking you to calm down, that doesn't mean they wronged you. Sometimes we do just need to calm down, and sometimes we are a lot more like Nelfurch than we want to admit. Subject your feelings to God and His Word and submit to the knowledge that He has placed people who love you in your life to guide, sanctify, and help you. God used the Israelites 400 years of slavery to make them into a cohesive people and eventually punish and plunder the Egyptians. He can use a few faulty, sinful people in your life to make you more mature. And if you're listening to our show, I bet you're pretty safe to assume the best of those around you. It's easy to assume the worst because doing so tempts us to justify our emotional outbursts. But those constant outbursts truly do make everyone else want to drown themselves rather than be around you.
It's true. All right, that's all for now, and we'll see you guys next time.
Toodaloo.